Hey there, this is Dr. Pam Perry. So today we're going to talk about life's a pitch. I have to say that pitch, not the other thing. Get your head out of the thing. People always say that other thing, but we are saying life's a pitch. And it really is. If you don't pitch, nothing happens. So we have the author of this book coming up. She is Margot Black, PR colleague. So we're going to do two things. We're going to do the get out there, get known intro to kind of let you know how this is going to set up to help you get out there, get known. But also, this is a Pam Perry's pick. So you're going to have two songs, and both of these you're going to enjoy. So stay tuned right after this.
Welcome to the Get Out There and Get Known podcast. Join Pam Perry, veteran PR strategist, Emmy award-winning producer and publisher of Speakers Magazine, who will show you how to crack the code in getting out there to get known. Each week, she either interviews her media friends, PR colleagues, or she just goes solo, offering you strategies on publicity, publishing, and platform building. So listen up to hear how to get booked on media places and on superstar stages. Now, here's your host, Pam Perry.
Hey, so, one of the things that I love about PR is that it promotes good things. And this is a good thing. Life's a pitch. So I have this jingle that I want to play that was done by a friend that recently passed. So I want to do Pam Perry's picks, but Bobby Ivory, I just love and adore him. He passed after long illness, and his funeral's coming up. But Pam Perry's picks is a song that he did for me. So I want you kind of to hear this. And this is the genius of Bob Ivory.
Hey yo, kick back, relax, let's dive in the page. Pam Perry picks got the books for your brain. From fiction to non-fiction, all genres insane. We coming through showing love to the lit game. Greatest stories ever told, gotta find your pick. Imagination running wild, ain't nothing slick. Get lost in the pages, let your mind drift. Pam Perry picks got your brain in the bookshelf vibe. Turning the pages with pride. Pam Perry picks got the words by your side. Bookshelf vibe, turning pages with pride. Pam Perry picks got the words by your side. From the classics to new, we got the books for you. Get your mind right, let the knowledge accrue. Bookshelf vibe, expand your horizons wide. Pam Perry kicks, keeping readers satisfied. Books up high, knowledge we can't deny. Get your reading on, just book one fly. Click cover image.
That is Pam Perry's picks, and that is with Margot. Yeah. I love that song. And Bobby did that. And like I was saying, he has made his transition, and I know he's in a better place. I know he's with God. One of the things his wife told me right before he passed, that his hands was up in the air, and it was like he was seeing angels or the Lord, as he was making his transition. He was at home in hospice, but his genius is going to stay with us forever. Creative genius, it came from the creator, and it stays. That's why I love podcasts. So that's why we're doing this podcast. It's going to stay here longer, Margot, after we're here and gone on, but this podcast will be here. And the books, one of the reasons why I love books is they stay here forever, longer than we are here. And so I'm so glad you have this genius in your head, but you put it in the book. So now we actually have it, and all of your knowledge and all of your tidbits. And I love the color on the inside. This is like a comic book. It remind me of back in the day of Brenda Starr, I guess you would say, That's what it kind of reminds me of, a little bit of Brenda Starr. If anybody remembers that was a comic strip way back in the day. But pitching is how to win what you want in business and life. And I want to say, Margot, this is like a masterclass in business and branding, public relations and marketing, and the art of persuasion. She's going to give you a little bit about her transition into PR, but talk a little bit about what you did before you did the PR business.
Well, I started, first of all, I do want to say I'm sorry for your loss for your friend. And I love that song. I love everything you do, Gail. We are kindred spirits, and I wish your friend dear peace. But I love that song, and I love books. And thank you for this, because it is an offering of a masterclass for anybody who wants to put their best foot forward in life, whether that is personally or professionally. And I did write this book and call it Life's a Pitch because so many people complain in the other direction. And I wanted to make sure that they had the tools to go get what they wanted with some sass, class, and style. So I believe more pitching and less, I'd say a different word, but I'll shortchange it and say
Yeah,
complain. How's
yeah,
that?
that is it. That is it. And I loved also too, Margot, how you pitched me to have you on the show. So,
Yay!
I don't always put everybody on Amazon Live and on the Get Out There, Get Known podcast at the same time, but your pitch was so compelling and very friendly. And it was a no-brainer. Like when I read it, it was like, absolutely, of course. And you made it seem fun, you made it seem easy. You sent all the materials when you're pitching someone. You want to make it so that it's a no-brainer. You want to make it short. You want to make it clear. You put the bullets in there. You add extra links. You put the link to the book so that I can see the book, the link to the reviews so I can see the reviews, which I want to tell you, Margot, this is one of the ways, one of the things I knew that I loved you. The beginning of your book, I don't know how many, but it's at least 1, 2, 3, 4 pages of endorsements from different people that are saying great things about the book. And I always tell people that when you're writing the book, don't write it in the cave and then come out and say, hey, I got a book. And no one has read it ahead of time to give you an endorsement or a forward. But you have endorsements, you have a screenwriter on here, someone who's premiere tours, someone else who's a award-winning author. You have a Emmy award-winning TV producer read the book, and they're all talking about how the book is high energy, colorful, fun. It's the book you need, so it gives you, even before you read the book, if you're going into a bookstore and you're reading the book, you're going to look at the cover. Interesting. You're going to look at the back. Okay, I get it. Then you're going to go to those first few pages. And then you read these raving reviews from other people, which have real names and tell you what they are. And if you feel anything about this book, you're going to feel it because someone else said it, not because you're going to say because someone else said it, not because of what what it is that you're saying. So I always tell people to make sure that you do that, and you did that very well. I want to say it looks like it's about 13 or 14 of endorsements in the front, but that was hard work.
Thank you. Thank you
That
so
was
much. It's also, when you're in the middle of it, and I really appreciate that. And I was so attracted to you because you're like a PR soul sister. I mean, everything that you do and the way you do it is precious. And I think we share the same desire to be of service to others, to really help them shine, which is what I'm here to do. And I appreciated everything of what you said about receiving the pitch, because I have been pitching for clients for 15 years in every way, locally, nationally, globally. And I've received a ton of pitches. People pitch me daily. And one of the things that I really encourage people to do in this book is I am giving you my secret sauce, how to pitch yourself effectively, and so other people can receive it well, because people are so busy these days. You have to deliver the whole goods right up front. No
Yes.
questions, know what it is. And I believe this above all else: a confused mind never buys. So if you confuse people, they feel like they have more work, and the answer is no. But if you give them the whole package, this is for you, what do you think? It's an easy yes.
Yes. And people are looking for more ways, because we're so busy, to say no
Yes,
than they are to say yes.
exactly.
So you want to make it so that it is the yeses that you're going to get. And so let's go over some of the parts of the book that make it so that when you're pitching, and you said personally or professionally, because we do pitch, whether we say, well, I'm not in sales, I don't pitch, or I'm not a publicist, I don't pitch. You're pitching all the time.
All the
You're
time.
pitching.
All of life is a sales pitch. And here's the
Yes.
thing. I named it Life's a Pitch because I can't tell you how many times, Pam, I hear people complain. And what you want is to get yourself more power by getting more chances in the arena. That's what you want. That's it. and that's pitch.
And when you are dating, if you are dating, you're pitching
Of
yourself.
course.
If you're going to dinner with a suitor or date or a possible spouse,
Mhm.
you're pitching. So you're
Right.
going to put your best foot forward. So this is where branding kind of goes in. And so we say that this book is a masterclass in business, branding, public relations, and marketing in the art of persuasion. And so
Right.
when you talk about the art of persuasion, let's talk about that. If we talk about the art of persuasion, is it a so that you can get something, give something, or is it a win-win? How do you define those particular areas?
All right, that's an excellent question. I'm going to always assume it's a win-win, right? But it might be something where you just need something quickly, like, can you change my seat? Or can I have that assignment instead of this? But in general, we're going to say we always want to aim for a win-win. Now, the basic tenet of the pitch of this is it's twofold. One, I believe that true power in life comes from having a choice. So, if you're a mom and you've had either a toddler or a teenager, you tell them to do something, they'll have a tantrum. You ask them and give them choices, they can go along as they wish. And adults are no different. We all want to feel like we have a choice and we want to get more choices for ourselves. So the basic premise of the book is, how are we going to get you more choices for what you want? And the second part is, you must communicate clearly
Yes.
so other people can receive it clearly, because a confused mind never buys. So what I did in here was really try to help you understand, the reader, what are the basic parts of any pitch. And it's been the same from Play-Doh to Pixar. It's the same. And if you don't get your story straight, everybody will say no. And most people detest ambivalence, whether they will say it out loud or not. But if you confuse them, they'll say no. And if you engage them, they tend to say yes. People want to be helpful.
That is so true. I
Mhm.
love one of the things that people were saying about your book at the beginning is that you have a way with words. You said from Plato to Pixar, right?
Mhm.
So let's talk a little bit about your background because it's very
Mhm.
interesting. You spent 10 years as what?
A stand-up comic. I did comedy. I wrote comedy. I sold
Oh,
a comedy show twice. I really love comedy. And I think I started in PR. I went to comedy and then I went back to PR.
okay.
And I got married, I had a family. It was easier life in PR. And for that, I'm grateful to our profession. It's a lot more flexible for women
Yes.
than being on the road or production of that sort. So, however, through all of that is a love of words. I am obsessed with words and their creative powers. And I think most people unconsciously create negative responses for themselves. And I wanted to show people how to consciously create positive responses for themselves, especially when it regards themselves.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I want to help people win, especially win at work, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is really important. Most women, especially mid career, are raised to be quiet, to go with the group, to not stand out, to not brag. And women really need to learn to understand how to speak confidently, powerfully, and elegantly about their super skills and what they bring to any project so they can earn more. Otherwise, you will not be acknowledged, your work will be overlooked. And in general, nobody walks through life saying, "You did a great job. Let me give you more money." It just
No.
doesn't happen. So
Yeah.
I wanted people to understand how to powerfully package themselves so they can go get what they want.
I love that. And I also love their background. I would be remiss if I didn't say the way you are, your background of the books in the background, this
Mhm.
is what you're pitching is should be there. And I can't tell you how many authors I bring on that do not have the book available in their hand or in the background. No, I'm serious. I mean, maybe it's because we're PR girls. It's like a natural thing, but you would be surprised. Like, oh, let me go get my book. I'm like, we're talking about your book. But I will also say that I have put down here the quiz that I take. And one of the questions in the quiz, pamperrypr.com/quiz is, do you have a brand? Do you have a compelling brand? Do you have a speaker kit? Do you have an email list? Do you have um social media? And they'll say yes. And then the question I ask is like, do you pitch yourself on a regular basis? Everything else could be yes. Hands down, I've had hundreds of people take that quiz. No is always the answer. They do not pitch themselves on a regular basis, but they want to be a speaker, but they don't pitch, male or female, but mostly the females are
Mhm.
saying, no, I would never pitch. And it's like, is that bad? Like, why won't you pitch yourself? If
Mhm.
you have a compelling brand, if you have a great website, if you have a speaker sheet or a media kit, if
Mhm.
if you've been in the media, if you have degrees, if you have reviews,
Mhm.
those things are the building blocks of why you need to pitch, because
Yes.
only you know it. If you don't, pitch it and let someone know.
Yes.
So one of the things I do want to tell you is that that is something that I want people to know, that they do have to pitch. They have to
Yes.
pitch. And that is really, really the key. And you talk a little bit about, it's not necessarily that they have to pitch for media, but they can also pitch for visibility other ways. So kind of talk about this. This is chapter 6. It talks about visibility, and I'll give you a little bit of a hint what this one is about. And it just talks about, like everybody wants to be seen. People come to me, I want to get out there, I want to get known. And it's like visibility is the key to success. That's what Margot says. And then it says build your personal brand, obviously networking. Okay, we're going to start there. Public speaking and social media. Now, I
Right.
think people kind of got the social media. That's probably not so much. That's okay. But that networking in person, talk a little bit about those type of 30-second elevator pitches when people say, "Hi, my name is Pam. What do you do?" So that's a
Okay.
pitch.
Yes. This is, Pam, one of the most thrown away opportunities I see everywhere. Thrown away in the garbage pail, in the toilet bowl. I cannot believe what I hear and see on a daily basis. And networking is where it happens the most. Most people are not prepared with the very basic question. Hi, how are you? What's new? What's new? I hear so many people just answer nothing, same old, same old. Or I live in Los Angeles, in Hollywood, traffic. Oh, the traffic was awful. No, the last 5 days when people said, what's new? I was like, I'm so excited. I'm doing my first Amazon Live with Dr. Pam Perry. I've never done an Amazon Live, and I'm so excited to try a new tech thing. Ta-da!
Mm.
You want to make sure you have an answer. And really important when networking, people are going to remember like a feeling that you bring them, right? But here's the other most important part, and I really go into it in this book. I talk about visual marketing. We are
Yes.
all visual creatures. We are
Oh,
visual creatures. You came on, you look so beautiful. Like we all have our things. You have a talent with hair and makeup. You look gorgeous in everything you do. I
I
love
changed.
color.
I changed like 3 times trying to figure out what
You
color.
are gorgeous. Okay,
Thank
I'm
you.
not great with hair and makeup, but I love color. Color and production design are talents I use,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I'm a really good packager. I love to package. You want to make sure when you're sharing your talents, this is so important. Everybody is sizing you up. Most mothers have lied to their children and they say, don't judge a book by its cover, but everybody does. So some people walk through life saying, oh, well, it's just this. I'm just wearing a hoodie. Nobody's going to care. But you don't know what opportunities are going to come to you. And you want to make sure one out of the gate, you make some sort of visual impact. And by visual impact, I'm not saying have a Maserati 6-packs or be wearing a Prada dress. I'm just saying let people make a judgment that is what you would want them to judge. And mostly all you need to do is be clean and articulate and clear and caring. However, most people just throw away those first impressions.
They do. They really do. When
Right.
you go to a networking event and people say, "Hey, how are you? What do you do?" They always ask, "So what do you do?" And I just said, my name is, Pam Perry. I'm a publicist, a podcaster, and I publish Speakers Magazine. I just throw those
That's
3 things
it.
out. I
That's
throw those,
it.
and it's like it's alliteration, right? Because I do have 2 P's in my name. I say publicist, I say
Mhm.
publisher and I say
Mhm.
podcaster. And then they say,
Mhm.
oh, okay, what's your podcast about? What's your magazine about?
Mhm.
Or what do you promote?
Mhm.
Those are that way, it's a two-way kind of conversation that piques an interest without throwing up on somebody.
Right. You just want to give people in life a general olive branch, a general olive branch. You know what? I once heard Oprah say something that I've forever remembered, and it's this. She says, when you have a party, when you give somebody the first drink, make it a strong one. Just the
Mm,
first one. You give them a hello. How are you? I'm Margot Black. I run Blacking PR. I love helping people shine their brightest. I wrote a book called Life's a Pitch. More pitching, less
being.
a rhyme, right? And so give them an olive branch, something to hang on to. And
Yes.
that you can't imagine how much further that will get you in conversation and in life because nobody wants to really receive other people's complaints.
No, no. And no one wants you to keep going on and rambling. And you don't, and you can see, well, you should be able to see from their body language whether they're interested or not.
Right.
And if
And
they're, yeah, you could
right.
just
And
leave.
yeah. And also, for most people publicly, they really just need an extra 10 minutes of attention before they walk out the door to an event. Not tons of new clothes or anything like that, just to make sure you've got your own package that speaks to something professionally that you want to be known for.
Mhm, mhm. There
Right.
is you want to be known for something. I mean, you could say something quirky. I saw on yours, well, not that it was quirky, but that you have a fur baby, and I have a fur baby as well.
Mhm.
And you talk about that in the book, and it's like just something in common because I have a little Maltese down there and he sleep. But it's just kind of like sometimes you could say those things depending on the situation, just to lighten things up. But you
Mhm.
have to know how to network and how to get in because it it always comes to that no like and trust factor. So the people, if they feel a connection with you, then you can get to the point where you're pitching something that you can
Yes.
hear either that
Yes.
is important to them and then that you can fit in. But that's
Right.
psychology.
Yes, and here's the other really important tip I tried to get through on this book, and that is we are story making machines. Everybody will make a story, and people will make up stories about you. Hence, gossip and the proliferation of like 100 Hollywood magazines. It is way better for your entire life that you run your story because if you
Yeah.
don't run your story, somebody else will. And it's
Mhm.
not that difficult, but just be intentional about it, and you can get a lot more of what you want.
Yes. I like this particular one, Margot. I like. And what's the best website for you? You want us to go to margotblack.com or you
You can
want
go to margotblack.com for the book, but also if you want any sort of help, go to blackinkpr.com to learn more
okay.
about me professionally. And at blackinkpr.com, you can find everything you want, and margotblack.com for the book.
Okay. Well, one of the things I like, I'm gonna put that in here, is creative strategies to raise visibility.
Mhm.
And one of the things that you did really well was encourage and manage reviews, which I said at the beginning of the book, you had a
Mhm.
lot of these.
Mhm.
Now, people will tell you that they love your book, that it was great, but to get people to write the review is a whole nother thing. Do you have a strategy of like maybe templates that you give people, or do you give them a questionnaire? How do you pull the written reviews out of people that just say, yeah, I'll do it?
Yeah. Okay. And I really want to say this to the whole world. All right. I understand that it's uncomfortable for everybody, and it was uncomfortable for me. I'm so used to being in the driving position that for me to ask something of me and to hear you say, Pam, that you just loved my pitch to you made me so happy. But I looked at your stuff and I was like, oh, I love this woman, and so you want to put yourself in a position that most importantly, when asking for anything, the first thing I would start with is an expression of gratitude. Most
Mhm.
people are so nervous because they're just asking. So express some gratitude, whether it's I really enjoyed this or thank you for having done this. And then it's okay to say, hey, awkward time. I have to ask, would you? And then one or two sentences, not 3 paragraphs of why I'd be grateful. Here's a link, a super clean ask, and then give them a deadline in 2 weeks. Would that be possible? I'd be so grateful. If time does not allow, I understand that too. So you give my original asks for the writing the book were not more than 3 sentences. I
Yes.
kept it so tiny. And Then there was an ancient book. I read it when I was like 22 on my mother's bookshelf, and it was called Fear, Feel the Fear and Do It
Do
Anyway.
it
And I
anyway.
think about that all
Susan
the time.
Jeffries. Susan
Yeah,
Jeffries.
I haven't looked at it. I should go back because I've mentioned it 3 times while doing this book. And like, yes, it was uncomfortable for me to ask, but you got to ask. And then who would I be if I was writing a book called Life's a Pitch and I wasn't pitching?
Yeah. How about that? That's
Mhm.
it. The people
I,
have a fear of rejection, and it's
I
a
tried to
natural.
talk about that in this book. People do, we all do. It's a natural fear. It's a
It's a natural.
natural fear, but you can't let it stop you. It's just part of the process.
Mhm.
That's what I really tried to get up here in this book. It is part of the process. I am constantly rejected as a publicist, but if I do 100 pitches, I'm going to get some fabulous things.
But what's even on the opposite side, we're publicists and we pitch all the time, and we're pitching to the media, and they may say no. And
Mhm,
if they say yes, great, then we're all in. But
mhm,
sometimes they won't even respond.
mhm.
And the thing about the psychology of not responding is just as much as we don't like rejection, people don't like to say no. So,
Yes, that is so true. I find it an uncomfortable thing, but now because there's so much email, silence is the answer,
yes.
right? It's not cool. And if you are hostile in that silence, you cannot do that. I just received an email from somebody. I have to say, it was like a hostile, like, why didn't you answer? But it was like your ask was so insane. They didn't package their ask well. And they
Mhm.
left. Here's the other thing that I really want readers to know. If you don't package your ask clearly, the basic things your high school teacher was trying to teach you, the who, what, where, when, why, and
Mhm.
how. Like, what
Mhm.
is it? Lay it on the line. If you don't, it feels like homework to everyone.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
nobody likes homework. It is nobody's job to figure you out.
Yes.
Nobody wants that homework. So you just got to package it up, put on a smile, put on a good shirt, and pitch.
And one of the things that I say, and I don't mean it in a bad way, but
Mhm.
I get this so that people can understand. Make it so that when you are asking someone something, that it's idiot proof, meaning that
Yes.
there's no questions asked, that no
Yes.
one will be vague about anything. So
Mhm.
make it idiot proof. So you know how to make something idiot proof, or make it so that it's for like a second grader. Okay. So when you're
Great.
putting together your pitch, it has the who, what, when, where, why, and the how, if you want to do that, and put it all in there. So there's no questions asked, because trust me, you will think that you put together the best pitch, you send it off, and then it comes back maybe with 4 or 5 questions. It's like,
Right.
okay, I guess
And
I didn't put it's on your end. I didn't do
it's on
anything.
your end. And look, there's a
Mhm.
lot more work in getting together that package and all that stuff, but you have to understand how busy people are. And it's a dopamine nation. People are there with their phones, they're with their computers, they're with their iPads, they're juggling. So make it quick, get to the point, and let people give you a yes out of the gate. They'll be happy.
That's it. That's it. So margotblack.com. And then I have scrolling across the bottom. A lot of times we're pitching, we're talking about pitching, but who do you pitch? And so PitchDB is a service that I use. It's kind of like Cision a little bit, but it's more consumer based.
Mhm.
And people, regular people can pitch themselves, but they can, who they pitch to is on PitchDB. So the bit.ly PitchDB, you'll find you can pitch television stations, magazines, radio, that kind of thing. Now it does take work. That's why publicists have the careers that we have, because this is a whole industry. But if you just really want to start out and say, hey, I can do this myself, then you can learn, get the book on how to pitch, and then go for it. Go to PitchDB and then start pitching. But you got to know how to do it right. Because even if I give you a contact list of 100 people that you can pitch yourself to, 100 media outlets, if you don't know how to pitch, you're just wasting your time. So
And
I was
that's why I
getting,
wrote this too. I think what
yes.
happens is people get very hurt very quickly, but they don't
Mhm.
realize how they didn't package themselves up well enough.
Yeah, and it's really simple to do. It's really
Mhm.
simple to do if you know the framework and the process. And you can watch, rinse, and repeat, but it's almost like golf. If you learn the wrong way and you just think, I don't know why I'm not getting better, but you never learn the right way. So you're just going out to the golf course and you're always doing the wrong swing because you never learned the right way.
That's
So
it.
this will help you.
I'm teaching you how to take a swing and put yourself in the ring. In the
That's
ring.
that's the next book. That's the next
Take
book.
a swing and get in the ring.
That is the next book. Well, Margot, thank you so much for joining us today. I think this is good. We're on Amazon Live as well, so people can share that link out. We're on YouTube, we're on LinkedIn, and saw a few people over there as well. But thank you so much for joining us today on Get
Pam,
Out
you
There
are
and Get Known.
so fun. Thanks for having me. Yay.
You're welcome.
You're like
You're
a
welcome.
soul sister in publicity. Just put yourself out there and get yourself up to bat.
Yes, get out there and get known. All righty. Well, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much.
All right, bye-bye. She is great. So make sure that you go to margotblack.com and also Black PR as well. She has a lot of things going on over there that you want to take advantage of, but make sure you get the book. Book is so fun. You know, most people say, oh, we'll get the book. No, this book is fun. It's like a cartoon book in a way. So, but it's really serious, but you can read it a fun way. Read it under the hair dryer or read on the airplane, but just get it and read it. Alrighty. I'll talk to you later. God bless.
You've been listening to the Get Out There and Get Known podcast, brought to you by PamPerryPR.com, where you'll get insider tips on how to build your platform, pitch the media, and promote yourself with confidence. Head over to PamPerryPR.com and get the exclusive video training on the 7 must-have marketing materials you need before you pitch. In order to be considered in media places or